Hey everyone, and welcome to Hooked on Needles and Crafts. Today we're going to be continuing with Beryl from Disney's The Nightmare Before Christmas crochet kit. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, I know it's been a hot minute since I posted part 1. Somehow Beryl just barreled through the cracks and I totally forgot about this kid. So we're going to go and continue him and hopefully finish him in this video. So what I'm going to do is do the new stitches at least 3 times, step by step, and then I'm going to go through each step of instructions. If you need to slow down or speed up the video, click on the gear button in the corner. There's playback options to go slow or fast. If you don't need to hear me talk, you could always lower the volume on your device and then click on the CC closed caption button. Again, these videos are meant to supplement the booklet instructions that you received in your kit. If you'd like to do these yourselves, I would highly recommend getting this kit. They do only have enough material to make 2 of the characters, but this booklet is packed with a lot of characters. As you know, I am making this for my sister and I'm creating a tiny little village for her. So I have been giving these to her as I complete them. I am actually going to leave a few more characters left for next Halloween and Christmas because I want to give her those as gifts. So I've done almost all of them. I think all I have left is Jack Skellington Santa, and I have the mayor, I believe. I think I did everything else. I'll have to look back in the booklet. But anyway, so let's get this started. Alright, so straight off we're going to do the arms. I'm going to do the second arm off camera. We're doing the mask, the hair, and the rib cage. I think that's about it. Okay, so with the white, and I'm going to go grab my white. We are going to do 6 single crochet stitches in an adjustable ring. So, to do the adjustable ring, you want to take your yarn and wrap it 3 times around your finger. We're going to take our hook here and slip it right under these 3 strands. I'm going to pull it back out, but I'm going to take this strand and pull it underneath these 2. So take your hook, pull it under the 2 strands. Then I'm going to yarn over. That's putting this yarn over the hook. So yarn over, then I'm going to pull this yarn strand through this loop like that. So now you can let go of your fingers on here. You can slip the loops off of your index, and then we can start doing our single crochet stitches. Alright, so to do that, let's stick your hook into the loops. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull this strand through those loops. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over again and pull that through 2 loops. So we have our first single crochet stitch. So let's do this again. Into the loops, put in your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through those 2 loops. Again, stick your hook into the loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Alright, so we did this 3 times. I just need to do this 3 more times. 1, 2, and 3. So from here, I'm going to overhand my hook and hold the stitches at the bottom. We have 2 loops here, and we have this excess piece. What we want to do is pull this excess piece and then carefully look to see at which loop goes inside the magic ring first. So start pulling slowly, and once you identify which loop is going in, you stop pulling. It's this one back here. So once you identify which one was pulling first, you want to pull out the lower half. So pull that out now. As you pull, you're going to see the other loops start to go into the magic ring. Keep pulling until that loop is completely inside the magic ring or adjustable ring. Alright? And then once you get to this point, now we have to make this loop disappear. So grab the excess piece, pull that as well, and then you're going to see that loop disappear. Just to make sure everything is all, as pulled as possible, we're going to pull in the opposite direction and upward, and you're going to feel a little bit of a give, not too much, but a little bit of a give. And now this is completely closed. So you want to take a marker that they have provided for you in this kit and slip it just under the braid of the last stitch we made. So the braid is here, if this can focus. It consists of 2 loops, so that's what we're going to be doing from here on out. And then we're going to move on to rounds 2 and 3. So we're basically going to repeat this 2 rounds doing single crochet stitches, but we're going to change to black. So hopefully I remember to stop at the last, before the last single crochet stitch we're due, because I'm going to show you how I transition to black. So let's do our single crochet stitches. Oh, look, I broke the yarn. You can see that right here. Just if you do something like that, just make sure that you crochet around the whole thing and not try to stick your hook into that space. But anyway, count back 6 stitches from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stick your hook into the 6th stitch, and then we're going to do our single crochet stitches. So I'm making this out of cotton. It's going to be just a little bit harder for me to do this because I tend to do little tight stitches. Too tight maybe. You can make it a little looser if you're doing this. But cotton is always stiffer material, so. Okay, so this is round 2. Again, I accidentally pierced the yarn. You want to make sure you grab everything. You can either replace the marker to the right spot or just remember that you have to put your hook in the right spot. Alright, so now that I've done 6, I'm going to remove this marker and I'm going to place it under the last braid of the stitch we made. And I'm going to do this one more time, and then I have to remind myself to stop before I finish the last single crochet stitch, because we have to prep the black yarn. Okay, you're going to notice that this is curving inside itself. We're going to have to flip this inside out. So I'll show you how to do that. Alright, so we have the 5 down. We have one more to go, but before I do that, I'm first going to flip this inside out because it's curving into itself, and you want to make sure that the right side is facing out. And you can tell it's the right side because it's not the side with this piece sticking out. We're going to tuck that into the arm later, but for now you can tuck it as best as you can. Alright, so now from here we want to pull this loop out as long as we can so that we don't lose that stitch, and set aside your project. Now we're gonna grab our black, and I have two blacks. This one here that's nicely in a spool, and the other one that has been unraveled by my cat. So I'm gonna try to get this straightened out and use that one instead. Hold on a sec. Alright, so this is how we set up our yarn. We are going to use our ring finger and pinky and thumb and hold one end, our index and middle, and hold apart the other. You're going to take your yarn, your needle, and lie it perpendicular to the yarn. We're going to go down, out, and around to make a loop around the hook so you can slide it up and down. Slide it towards your thumb. We're going to take the middle finger and just hold it where it crosses. I'm going to let go of my left hand and put some yarn around my finger. Then we're going to come back in, re-pinch that end, and we're going to slide the hook towards the thumb. Once we get towards the thumb, you just want to pinch where it crosses so that you can no longer slide your hook up or down. Then we're going to yarn over like that, and you're going to pull this through this loop like that. Now I'm going to overhand my hook. I'm going to re-pinch this end here, don't let go. I'm going to push this knot towards my thumb until the knot is tight to where you can't move it anymore. And once you get to that point, you can take your thumb and middle finger and just pull out that excess piece a little bit more. You'll feel it give just a little bit more. You don't have to pull too tightly, but that's going to create your knot, and we're going to slide it towards the hook, leaving a nice space here. Okay, so now you can remove this, carefully set this aside. We're going to pick up our project again, slip the hook back onto that huge loop, and then we're going to pull the yarn to where it's tightening up a little bit, and then we're going to do our last single crochet stitch, but pay attention to this. Stick your hook into the last stitch with the marker. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. I'm going to set this white aside. I can use my ring and pinky to hold it back. I'm going to slip on my black yarn here. Okay, grab some yarn around the finger. We're going to pull this through the two loops, and we have transitioned to the black. So remove your marker. You can place it underneath the braid of the last stitch we made. We won't be going back to white, so what we're going to do is cut this off about an inch or so. I'm going to tie this. You can either use that white in there, but I already tucked it in. I'm going to tie this 2 times around the black. Not too tight, just enough so that you don't lose any stitches by it unraveling or anything. Okay, then you can tuck that into the arm, and we can move forward with the black. Alright, so now for round 4, we have to do an increasing stitch and then a couple of single crochet stitches all the way around. So I'll show you how to do an increasing stitch. So stick your hook into the next stitch here. Try to avoid all those excess pieces that we tucked in. Now, the point of an increasing stitch is to do 2 single crochet stitches in this one here. So yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Then we're going to go back into that same stitch, and we're going to do another one. So yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 2 loops, yarn over, pull through those 2. So you can't see it because it's really dark. Maybe you can. This one stitch, it has 2 single crochet stitches. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do the next part of this. We have to do our single crochet stitches. So into the next stitch. Again, try to avoid the excess pieces we are tucking into our project. And then complete your single crochet stitches. And then we're going to go back to doing an increasing stitch. So let me show you how to do that. Into the next stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches, 1 into that same stitch, put in your hook, and let's do the second one. So again, that one stitch has 2 single crochet stitches, and we're going to do our single crochet stitches. And then we're going to move on to the next round. So take your marker, put it under the braid of the last stitch we made, right? So now for this next round, it's going to be around 5 through 9. I highly suggest getting as many of these as you can, because sometimes the instructions have you repeating so many rounds. It's better to have enough than to not have enough. So if this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I know that I have to at least finish this amount right here. So all we're going to do now is do single crochet stitches all the way around. Okay, so I've done 5 through 9, and it says flatten the arm and work the next row, inserting the hook in both layers. And this is going to be for round 10. We're doing a single crochet stitches in all the stitches and then fastening off. Okay, so I don't need this really. Let's see. So you want to line up your stitches. I know that's going to be a little tough to see with the color here, but we're going to do single crochet stitches in all the stitches across. See, it is really hard for me to see, so I am right there with you if you can't see what I'm doing. Alright, well, we know it's supposed to be 4, so just do 4 single crochet stitches as best as you can. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay. And then we have to fasten off, leaving a tail for sewing. So make sure you have enough. To fasten off, you just need a yarn over, and we're going to pull this through the loop and all the way out like that. Tighten it up. All right. And then it says sew the arms between rounds 17 and 18 of the body. Use white to make the bones over the arms with straight stitches and lazy daisy stitches. Okay, so they do give you a needle. I'm just going to use this needle from my video I just filmed with before. Slip the yarn into the eye hole of the needle, and we're going to sew this so it says round 17 and 18. So I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So it's going to be going between here I want to raise it up one because I think it'll look better just one more up. Alright, so find your spot that you want to sew this in at, and then commit. And I'm not a sewer, so we're going to just hope for the best here. Okay, and then once we have that, I'm just going to find a moment underneath to do the tying off. So however you know how to tie it, I'm just going to put my needle around the loop a couple of times and then pull it tight, cut the excess. Then with my hook, I'm going to just go under the surface of the body, avoiding the stuffing. We're going to yarn over and pull that down into the project. Okay. And then we have to sew the bones. So I'm going to take some of this and cut it. Okay, thread this up. Now hopefully I remember this from the last video, but to do the bones, I'm going to start from the bottom. And I'm going to come up. I want to tie a knot. Oh, that was rough. Okay, I'm going to tie a knot here, and I'm going to try to tie it to where I'm going to do a double knot, and I'm going to, and it's very crazy loose actually, whoops, but I'm going to try to spin it to where it gets tucked in, which it's so tight I don't know if it's going to do it. Let's see if I can have my hook help me out here a little bit. Okay, so I just stuffed that knot in there, and you can try tucking in that piece. We're going to do the bones now. Okay, so the lazy daisy chain is, we do a little loopsy, right? Okay. You want to stick your needle back into that same hole we've been using, and we're going to come up here. Alright, because we have this little lazy chain here, and I'm going to go back into that same spot and then back up into the same point we've been using. We're going to pull this to where this ends up becoming let me see. I did that a little too loose. Alright, then you want to go on the other side and do the same thing. I come back up a little ways. Out. Alright, and you can go back in the same spot that you came out of. Now I'm just going to go skip all of this and go all the way down here. So just fish your needle. I think the needle they give you that I didn't use, that's somewhere here, is a lot stiffer than what I'm using right now, so. Okay. Just gonna pull through this. And there you have your other little thing going on here. Right? Right, and then we're gonna do another lazy daisy, whatever. This side. Okay, so the difficult part here now is just gonna have to find tying a knot somewhere. So see if I could just do it here. I'm going to try to go around a little bit of, or maybe just back in and then back up to go around this. I don't know. I'm not a sewer, but we're gonna put our knot through there. I'm going to cut this. Then I'm going to take my hook and go just under the surface, come up where this excess piece is, yarn over, and we're going to drag it down into the arm. Okay, you might have to do this a couple of times to get that stuff in there. Yeah, just keep repeating that until it's all gone. Okay. So we have the first arm with the bones in. Then I'm going to do the second arm off camera and we'll come back in and we're going to do the mask. All right. So I did both arms and now we're going to work on the mask. We're going to use some white. So I've got my white here. Actually, let's put this here. All right, so we're going to start off with a 6 single crochet adjustable ring. You want to wrap this around your finger 3 times with a little bit of overage to put your middle finger like that. Let's straighten these out, tighten them up a little bit. Stick your hook underneath all 3 strands. We're going to pull the hook back and we're going to hook this strand and pull it underneath these 2. Okay, then we're gonna yarn over, just putting that yarn over the hook. We're gonna pull that through this loop. All right, so now we can let go of our middle finger, pull the loops off the index, and then we're gonna do 6 single crochet stitches. Just get out my markers. I don't know why I closed them off. But again, get a pack of these at the hobby store. Believe it or not, these are what I've collected over time. So, highly recommend keeping all of your tools from all these kits because you may need it down the road. Alright, let's do our single crochet stitches. Alright, let me just show you one more time how to close this off. So you have 2 loops. We're going to pull this excess piece and watch to see which loop goes in first. Once you see which one moves, you can stop pulling. So let's pull this now. Alright, I stopped. It seems like this loop is going in first. So what we have to do is pull this lower end out of the magic ring, or adjustable ring. And you want to pull it till the other loop completely disappears into the adjustable ring. Alright, once you get to that point, you can now pull this excess piece. You might still have a little hole here. So pull that excess piece out. Right, and once that other loop goes in entirely, you want to pull in the opposite direction and a little bit up. You're going to feel a little tug. You don't have to pull too hard, but you're going to see that your hole now is completely closed. Alright, so now what we're going to do is count back. Nope. What we're going to do now is mark the last stitch we made. And we're going to move on to round 2. So now we're going to be doing increasing stitches all the way around. Alright, remove the marker. I'm going to move it to the last stitch we've made. Then for round 3, we're going to do an increasing stitch and a single crochet stitch. We're going to repeat this 6 times. Just grab some yarn here. I'm not looking forward to sewing a face onto this mask. Comment below, let me know if you are good at sewing. I think for the Five Below kits they give you stickers, so I wouldn't mind stickers. Alright. So what did I say now? We're going to be doing an increasing stitch and a single crochet stitch 6 times. Okay, so now I'm going to replace my marker under the last stitch I made. Then we're going to do round 4, and we have to again alternate increasing stitches, this time with 2 single crochet stitches, and we have to do that 6 times. So all right. So the next we're going to do round 5, and again we're going to alternate increasing stitches with single crochet stitches, this time with 3. Just getting some yarn here. Okay. All right. One more round. We're gonna do single crochet stitches in each stitch. I have now hit a point with my I have no idea what's going on here, but it's definitely tangled. Yeah, this is insanity. But let me untangle this and we'll get back to doing the 6th row. Okay. For a second there, I thought I forgot what hand I'm doing. I'm predominantly left, but I'm doing a righty video. So I get a little confused sometimes. Alright, comment below. Let me know if you are ambidextrous. If so, also hit that like button. But we're going to do this last round here, all single crochet stitches. Okay, so I'm going to remove this marker. We don't need it again. It's telling us to fasten off and leave a tail for sewing. So I'm just going to make sure that I have enough to sew onto the body. All right, and then here comes the hard part. It says with black embroidery thread straight stitch the nostrils between rounds 1 and 2. Alright, so this is where we're going to be doing a lot of the face work. Now I don't know if I've used black so much. I don't know if I have black. This is what I have. I got this off of Amazon. No, and that's where it's coming from. I got these embroidery flosses off of Amazon. You can find them on Amazon. There's different ones, but I got a multicolor or a packet of different colors. So this has no more black, but we're gonna try to figure it out. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to try grabbing a dark color, maybe like a purple or something. Heck, maybe this kind of maroonish color. I know it's not black, but this is all I got. So again, you're meant to go buy your own stuff. I'm just going to use what I have, you know, because that's what most of us are doing anyway, right? You know, we don't all have everything we need. It would be great if we could, but so moving forward with this, let me just get some. I don't want to unravel it. So I'm going to try to do this to where I don't. Okay, let's cut this. I'm going to take my needle. Alright, so between rounds 1 and 2. Oh, let's fasten off. Alright, so we cut our white yarn here. To fasten off, again, you just yarn over, and we're going to pull this through the loop all the way out, and then tighten it up a bit. Alright, so now we're good to go. Now, we're going to do a straight stitch between rounds 1 and 2. So here's one. I'm going to do this. Stick it through the center. Okay, I'm not going to tie a knot yet. I'll tie it later. And I'm going to do this maybe 2 more times. Give it some thickness. Okay, that's one. Then I'm going to do another. I'm going to go in on this side, I guess. I'm just going to go in the center. So just make pretend that this is black. Okay. Alright, so now let me see if I have this white felt. Alright, so I do have the white felt. It says cut 2 circles, approximately 2 stitches in diameter. And then from the white felt for the eyes, cut a wide mouth. From the white felt, use 1 strand of white embroidery thread to sew the eyes and the mouth to the mask. Use the lilac thread to make a border around the eyes with a back stitch. Ay, ay, ay. This is where I peace out. No. Alright, so we're going to do 2 eyes, 2 stitches in diameter. Let's just do this. Okay. And then we have to do a mouth. Cut a wide mouth. It just doesn't say how wide. So I'm just going to use this. Okay. So I need to get white. I don't even know if I have white in here. I don't even remember using white. I'm just gonna use this really light green. We make do with what we have over here. But I don't think that's a terrible thing because at least now you can see what I'm doing. So, you know, on your end, maybe you want to have the white. But I need to try to find the end here. And they said we only need one strand. So I'll show you what that means. Right. So when they say one strand, this embroidery floss is made out of 6 strands. You just need one, and it makes sense because they don't want you to they don't want you to see the floss when you sew it on there. So using one strand, it'll make it kind of invisible. I want to use this needle. I believe there's a similar needle used for this. I could be wrong, actually. And you know what? These are so tiny. I'm actually gonna use a smaller needle. So I forget what kind of needles they provide you. I'm gonna get a smaller one. But as I'm doing that, I just realized this one here, we could tie it together and cut it. Because I don't think we're going to be using this for the moment. So tie it twice. I'm going to cut this off here. Set it aside for now. Let's go grab a smaller needle so that we can get into that felt without ripping it. I'm going to see if using a threader helps. Yeah, you want to have some of these few sewing tools that might be helpful. I don't know if this threader will help, but if you can fit this in here, and you can't. So I'm going to stick with this though because it is such a small needle and it's going to work well with the felt being so tiny of a shape. So I'm just going to stick this into the eyelet hole as best as I can. There are better threaders you can buy that will help you work with these tiny eyelet holes. I'm just hoping for the best, and this is what I got. So now what I'm going to do, Does it say where to put it? Sew the eyes and the mouth to the mask. That's pretty much all we get here. So I'm going to take an eye. You can kind of lay it out. So we're going to do something like this. Okay, so grab your needle and start sewing away. I guess first we're sewing the eyes and then we're gonna have to do a border. Kind of glad that we used, or at least I use this light green because you can't really see it anyway. So it worked out. Okay, let's do that side. We're going to do the other side. Okay. Then we're going to go and sew on the mouth. I mean, this is looking like Frosty the Snowman to me. Let's taper off the ends here. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to go tie this in the back. Double knot. Let's make it 3. All right, so now what we have to do is we have to use a lilac thread to make the border around the eyes. Let me just check the photo. Okay. So I'm guessing we're using full parts now because it doesn't say a single strand. Yeah. So, and I do have lilac. Go in here again in the lilac. And I'm just going to cut some pieces here, long enough to sew both eyes. So this I can put away. I'm gonna go back and grab the bigger one. I mean, who knows? Maybe you're supposed to use one strand the whole way. Why don't I just use this one? This one will definitely work with my threader. Highly recommend getting a threader. Mine looks like this. Like I said, there's different ones. And again, I don't know if they mean one strand, but they didn't mention it again, so maybe they don't mean one strand. Plus, how else are you going to see the border? And thread that. And we're now going to do a border around the eyes. And a back stitch. Not too sure what a back stitch is. I'm sure that it shows it in the booklet. Wait, I don't want to start here. Let's start here. Yeah. Sounds smart for someone that doesn't sew. Ignore instructions, but I mean, really, I'm just gonna do a border. How bad can it be? And my opinion on this is, if I really wanted to sew, I would totally like buy a kit that makes you sew these things as opposed to crochet them. So think it's working out. This started out to be the quickest out of the three, lock, shock, and barrel, but barrel, man, barrel makes me cringe as much as Sally did because there was a lot of sewing in her dress. So I am not particularly a fan of this barrel anymore. I mean, I'm glad that I'm here, but this is a lot. The flag at the end of the booklet that I did, they wanted you to embroider Jack and Sally standing on Spiral Hill, and I flat out said nope, not doing it. Just make pretend that it's there. It looks cool enough with the spiral, so I just left Jack and Sally out. Oops. Okay. Oof, rough. Alright. Border the eyes, backstitch, complete the eyes by making a French knot in the center with black and blurry. Alright, so that's not going to happen. We had the French knot for Sally's dress and I failed miserably. I'm not going to attempt the French knot. It's just, you know what? No. Nope, nope, nope. You can try it. Like I said, these stitches, they teach you how to do the stitches in the beginning of the book. You can go back and learn how to do it, but I'm not about that life, so I'm just gonna sew on my eyes. I don't know. It's gonna be choppy, but that's how I'm gonna do it, because I can't do everything. All right, so I'm just gonna stick this up in here. Let's see how one does. I mean, that's not bad. Just in and out, kind of. Then I'm just going to do this on this side. And I just go down a little bit like this. Yeah, you know. Double knot this. All right. Now, all right, make the teeth with long straight stitches in black embroidery thread. Then use the teal thread to make border around the mouth with backstitch. Sew the mask to the body. Okay. What I think I should do half. So I'm gonna split this 3 for 3. Like I said, embroidery floss is typically made out of 6 strands, so splitting in half, and then I'm gonna do the mouth. I mean, seriously, how do you make it look like that? I don't know. So I'm gonna go up in here on one end. I'm gonna do one of these smiley thingers. And make sure this is low enough. Okay, so I got my little smile right, and so we're gonna put in the teeth. So first let me anchor this. So go somewhere in the middle of the mouth. Okay, pull that. Okay. So now we can just go back in and do the teeth. Okay. I'm going to tie this off. And then we got to do the teal. And I think I definitely have teal. Alright, let's go in here. Look for some teal. I guess this would be the teal. And this one we're going to use the full thread, so okay. All right. Almost there. I don't know how long this video is, but I'm going to try to get all of this done in one video today. That didn't work out. I tell you, sewing through cotton is not fun. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Beryl's face looks busted. Comment below, let me know how yours turned out. Okay, so I'm gonna tuck all of this work. Whatever. Tucking all of that into the mask, we're gonna sew this together to your project. Oh man. Yeah. Alright, so I'm not sure if I even fit in this screen. Let's make sure we put the right side on. Right, put it on the right side. Okay. Alright, so now I'm just gonna sew away and see what happens. Would black have made a difference? Maybe. Oh my gosh, this looks so funny. And I'm definitely skipping some. I don't think it needs to be super perfect. Okay, just gonna tie this on the side here. I take my hook, stick it under the surface of the head, avoiding the fiber fill. We're going to yarn over, and then we're going to drag it in to the project. Alright, so now we have our mask. This looks nothing like him. I think maybe if the eyes were larger. If the eyes and the mouth were larger, because I mean, this is such a small head. Oh well, whatever. Alright, now for the hair, we're going to cut 12 strands of light green yarn, approximately 1 inch long. We're going to use the crochet hook to secure the hair on top of the head, just behind the mask, on 2 rounds. Okay. So, alright, I'm going to, hold on, let me put this stuff away first. Alright, so they say 12 strands. This comes with 2, 4, so I guess I'll be cutting this 3 times, and I'm just gonna approximate an inch. How is this going to be enough for hair? Cut 12 strands of light green yarn, approximately 1 inch long. Use the crochet to secure the hair. Oh, so each one, I got it now. So each plug is going to be 12 strands. I might have to jump off here and do this separate, but I'll show you how to do one. Okay, just splitting this. Okay, so you have your split strands of yarn. Then we're going to come in here. Let's start at the very tippy top. Okay, so we're putting our hook through a stitch. Now what you want to do is you want to loop this yarn here. We're going to stick our hook through those bits. Alright, you can flatten this out or whatever. Then, once you got that through the stitch, we got to put the rest of the hair through that loop. So, which is why I think this needs to be longer than an inch. But you want to put all that through the loop and just pull all the way out, like so. I'm gonna guess an inch is okay. See how we created this kind of a knot? So this is 1. And we're gonna do this, it says just behind the head 2 rounds. That's a lot. Do 1 round first, and then you can do a second round behind it and see how it goes. But I'm going to continue doing this. I'm going to do, it looks like it's kind of to here to here. And then we'll see how it looks. But yeah, this is looking horrendous. Be right back. Alright, well, after doing this, I'm realizing that it's 12 strands. It's 1 inch of 12 of these, not 1 inch of the 12 all together in one, because I had put them in there three pieces at a time where it should have just been one, just 12 of them, which makes sense to do 12, but I mean 2 rows. But since I did it all in clumps, there's a lot more on here, as you can imagine, but it works out to where I don't need to do a second strand. Now I can actually come in here and make these a lot shorter since they don't look so long in the booklet. But other than that, I'm gonna see how much time we have done so far, if I can even fit the rib cage, because we still have a bit of ways to go before we're done. Alright, so screw it. I don't know how long this video is. If my editor explodes, I'll just split it in 2. And if it doesn't and you're hearing this now, well, at least you can be entertained with the ins and outs of filming for YouTube. Anyway, so let's just move on to the rib cage. We have a long bone to make, and we have to make 6. So I'm going to make 1 here, and then I'll do the rest off camera. And then we have the short bone. We have to make 3. I'll make 1 and then do the rest off camera. This is where I'm a little confused, because it's like, what? Excuse me? But anyway, alright, so we have to chain 5. So we're gonna do what we did before, just setting up our yarn, and I'm guessing it's white, you know, because the bones on here look white. Oh, it's just crazy. We have to sew all of this. Alright, so again, we just go down, out, and around to make a loop. I think I did this more than 3 times, but I'll do it again. Okay. Pinch the end, slide it down, then pinch where it crosses. We're going to yarn over, pull through the loop, overhand the hook, repinch the end. We're going to push the knot towards the thumb. Okay, and just a little bit of extra tightness. I'm going to pull this end here. You're going to feel it move up just a little bit. Slide the knot up, not too much. Leave a space, because we're going to do our 5 chains. So let's do our 5 chains. Alright. Now we have to skip the first chain from the hook, and then we're going to do our 3 single crochet stitches, a slip stitch in the last stitch. Alright, so seems fairly simple enough. So like I did, nope, I didn't do that yet. So what I like to do is if you turn, see, you have this nice pretty braid from the chains. Okay, when you flip it on its profile side, you can see the humps, the back loops of that braid. Now I don't know if at the end of the day this is going to be exposed, but if it is, I want to be able to see this really beautiful braid intact. So normally you would just stick your hook into the top loop of that braid, but I don't want to do that because you're going to remove the nice braiding here. So I'm going to turn it on its side. We're skipping the first chain, and then in the second chain I'm going to stick my hook into that back hump. So it's a little extra work, but if this ends up becoming exposed, you can imagine that this braid still stays intact, and it's pretty to see. So we're going to do our single crochet stitch. Okay, so let me show you that again. into the next stitch, which would be this top loop here, rather than do that, I'm going to turn it and stick my hook into the back hump behind here. Okay. Then I'm going to do my single crochet stitch. Alright, one more time with you guys. So we have 2 of these chains left. I'm going to turn it to its side and put it in the back humps. So put your hook into the back hump. We're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through. So we have our 3 single crochet stitches, and then we have to do our slip stitch. So I don't believe we've done a slip stitch yet. So what that is you stick your hook into the next stitch, which happens to be the last one. As you see, we have the braid here. Flip it on its back. You can see clear as day that the back hump that I'm going to stick my hook into. Sometimes the last stitch or the first stitch, you can see the back hump so easily. So stick that through. I'm going to try tucking in this excess piece. You want to lay it across the hook like that, and then put your feeder yarn back here. So we're going to do our yarn over like we normally do, and a slip stitch is pulling through all loops, so through here and through here. So pull through that, and then pull through this, and there you have your long bone. So then it says fasten off, leaving a tail for sewing. This is gonna be so big. Yeah, because I have cotton, you guys. I have cotton. I have cotton. It's not gonna, you know, if you're using acrylic yarn, at least it'll flatten. Cotton's fairly stiff. All right, to fasten off, we're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull through the loop all the way out. Okay. I'm pulling it just to make that loop tight, and then we have our finished bone. And because we did that back loop, so this is the top of it. Look at the nice braiding we did. If you go around, you still have braiding underneath. Look at that. So that's what I'm talking about. And it looks like we're going to be laying this way. So depending on how we sew it, I mean, these can definitely be helpful markers to sew, or if, you know, it's kind of protruding out there. I mean, it's just the details. If you really don't care about it, then, you know, you really don't have to do it that way. But I'm very meticulous about certain things that look right. This is just god-awful. But if I can make things look nice in some areas, then points for me. I don't know. Anyway, again, I'm going to do 5 of these off camera. But for now, we're going to move on to the short bone. So once again, we're going to set this up. And once you get the hang of doing this, it really just becomes really, hello, it becomes really second nature doing these. So that's where I hope you guys can get at, because it could be frustrating, but it could be very rewarding. And I really hope that you stick with crocheting, even if you feel like it's difficult. This is something that you can do, you know, from here on out. It's a lifetime skill, and you can pass it down to your family members, like my aunt did with me. So I don't know, I just like it. All right, so for the short bone, we're gonna chain 2. Skip the first chain from hook, and we're gonna do a single crochet stitch. Wow, that was really short. Okay, and I can already see this excess piece is probably too short to hide. I mean, I can try, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Well, I think it will. Cotton. gotten. Alright, so now I'm going to leave a tail for sewing. I might have gone a little extra with the length, but you know, we're not, you know, worried about well, not wasting, but running out of yarn. So anyway, here's the short bone, and then I'm going to be making 2 more of this, and then we just have to sew it. So let me come back with all the pieces and we'll start sewing. Alright, I wanted to pop in here because I do have a set of bones, and I want to at least sew this first because I want to see how much yarn I really need to waste here. So, I mean, I kind of am mindful a little bit. So I'm going to sew this first set on here, and it looks like they have it kind of spread out evenly on the body here. So I'm going to grab a needle, and we're going to sew the first set. Alright, so this is like the middle. It's so funny. Okay, rib cage. Like, I thought this was going to say backbone. I was like, it's so funny. Why are they calling it a backbone? It's the front. Alright. So you just, I guess you can count it if you really want to be particular. 3, 6. Alright. So I'm going to place the first one down, and it's kind of between these 2 rows here. And again, I'm not a sewer, so we're just hoping for the best. Alright, so clearly I don't need as much yarn as I grabbed myself. Here's another way to kind of hide your yarn here. So I'm going to stick my needle in, and I'm going to stick it out somewhere. Right, like that. I'm going to pull hard on it, and then I'm just going to push the side that that it's coming out of, so you can kind of shortcut this piece here, so that when you flatten out that body, it disappears. So yeah, this is a lot of yarn that I'm gonna try not to do that for the remaining pieces. Okay, and then we have this going on. Let's see, you can kind of maybe, yeah, I'm going to stick this here. then you see I can use my pretty braiding that I did to hide my stitching. All right. So again, I'm going to tie my knot. And then we're going to come in here. Alright, so I kind of figured I've got a lot of yarn that I don't need to waste. So when we come back, I'm going to show the other 2 sets of these bones sewn on, and we'll have our little end talk, and that'll be it for the video. Be right back. Alright, you guys. So, put on the rib cage, and this is it. This is our barrel. The face is hurting real bad. But, you know, it is what it is. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're able to complete this, where you tripped up, stuff like that. And, yeah, I'm going to be prepping for the next, hopefully not so failure. I'm going to be doing a 5 Below kit. I have 2 requests to do. I am gonna put a halt in my list because I really need to get some of these snacks down. So you'll be surprised with the video coming up doing the first snack. I wouldn't say snack, but it's a booklet of food, and it's gonna be really cute. So click on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. This is Hooked on Needles and Crafts. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.